lot of people say Arteta is like a Pep disciple. At this point, I'm trying to see that Arteta took most of his coaching lessons from David Moyes.
If your plan for the season is to win the league, then you can't be celebrating drawing the champions when you had the lead up until the 97th minute.
Them winning the trophy over us was because we failed to beat them on our home and away. No.
In regards to every single thing in life, how we exist is that if you don't make your displeasure known, if you don't unionize, if you don't fight and ask for it, capitalism will make sure that they will exhaust every opportunity to utilize the resources you provide.
I'll say it was too aggressive. I felt like it was too cocky. There's that difference. There are differences in two of them. And be confident. There's a difference. You can be confident but not cocky. He was cocky up until the fight.
Internet criminals or cyber criminals, whatever it is you want to call it, is because there is not enough. And which is not true. Nigerians are some of the most hardworking people that you can come across in the world.
If you are part of a conversation and you have no idea or you don't have enough information, the best thing you can do is to state that you don't have enough information rather than provide an opinion when you don't have enough information. That's the problem I have with them.
I'm sorry we are sorry you saw this, not we are sorry it happened. Because
hello guys, welcome to another episode of the One About Nothing podcast. To our amazing listeners out there, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. We appreciate the comments on YouTube and everything. We appreciate the support on Instagram. We've received requests that some people would like to join us, and we're in the process of reviewing most of these things. So we're grateful. But it's another episode, another week, another podcast. I think the best place to start is the fact that we just saw a game that we expected a lot from the game. In a way, it delivered, but maybe not as much as we expected it to deliver. But all in all, I think the summary of the game is, I've been using this line for a while now that Arsenal have learned how to win. Arsenal have learned how to win. They know how to go through games and stuff like that. I think that's the best way to describe it. They were a minute away from getting an all-important victory at the Etihad Stadium against Man City, despite being one man down for the entirety of the second half. But they considered that late equalizer. But to have played for 45 minutes against the champions in Man City and a man down and still get that 1-1 result, I think Arteta and boys have to pat themselves on the back and say, yes, we didn't do a bad job.
Oh, they didn't do a bad job at all. In fact, I think they did a great job, because it's not just that they defended for 45 minutes, it's that they kept Man City at bay for 45 minutes. Like, Man City had 22 attempts, also fine. But most of those attempts were Walker, Diaz, and Akonji, like shooting from distance. And frankly, if it's Diaz and Akonji shooting for you, it's not really a threat. Because there were no spaces. Like, Arsenal were so good at compacting those spaces. Like, it felt like City had no ideas. And as you mentioned, Arsenal have learned how to win. I think one of the most important things in that factor is that Arsenal now know how to manage games. Because like the fact that they will take a thing out of the game, like a 3 minutes period, they'll make a pointless substitution, one player will just go down, feign injury. Like, keep that thing intact. A lot of people say Arteta is like a Pep disciple. At this point, I'm trying to see that Arteta took most of his coaching lessons from David Moyes when he played under him. Because a lot of Arteta's Arsenal now is like if David Moyes or Sean Dyche had an unlimited budget. They know how to manage games. They know how to not lose. Like, they just need one goal or two at most. And frankly, with any other team, they clean house with this game. We saw what they did against Spurs last weekend. Again and again, this was the 10 men.
Bullish, we were watching the game, and for all we could see was, after City raised onto that early lead from Erling Haaland, it felt like, okay, one of those days whereby Arsenal might fall apart, but they showed character. 1-1, then it became 2-1. Although City are guilty, we can accuse City of being guilty of conceding a cheap goal from Gabriel. And at the end of the day, they got an all-important 1-1 result against a Manchester City team. Whichever way you choose to look at it, we still have to give them credit that they were able to hold the champions at bay for a very long time.
I think at this point, regardless of what we thought before the game started, when you get into the game, giving you credit because you're the champions as it doesn't matter anymore. Except you want to continue to be the second fiddle. If your aim, if your plan for the season is to win the league, then you can't be celebrating drawing the champions when you had the lead up until the 97th minute. You have to really, if you want to show that okay, we are a team that wants to win the league from a side that has won the league 4 times in a row, without thinking about financial fair play, point deduction coming. If that's not at the back of your mind, if you want to win the league by yourself, then this result you have to be disappointed. You have to forget about credit at this point. Yes, before the game, if we had gone into the game before we saw the game, you have said, okay, if Arsenal get a draw from this game, they probably have done a good job. But with the way the game went, the way the game progressed, leading the game for most of the game up until the last minute of the game, I think they'll feel more disappointed than maybe ecstatic about the result. So I feel like generally they probably should not be taking any, maybe some positives from the game because they were down by 1 bit, that they were able to defend effectively for a long period of the second half. But still, long-term conversation, if you are trying to win the league, these 2 points that you dropped in the last minute of the game can be very, very crucial because don't forget, there's still a Liverpool who are doing exceptionally well, who have started the league on the front foot. So they are also part of the people you are actually working against, working towards fixing, what they are trying to do. So that's something that they also have to pay attention to. So if the aim is to win the league this season, you can't be too ecstatic about this result. But if the aim is to continue to be, oh yes, we did well, then this is probably one of the best results they've had in a while.
Akin, are you still with us?
Yeah. I'm here, guys.
I think if I'm trying to focus on what Bolish just finished talking about, Posco said something on the how do I put stick to football podcasts, or what was the name of this guy in every podcast, where he said that Arsenal at some point Arsenal are going to have to beat City. Like last season, he felt Arsenal failing to beat City at the Etihad where they played at a 0-0 draw, and the Gunners left the stadium ecstatic. That didn't show the character of champions at all. That if Arsenal are going to go to the next level, if Arsenal are going to be champions this season, they're going to have to go past City and say, okay, you know what, we have beaten you. Yes, today they were close to getting it done.
I don't think, just like what Bolly said, it's not just about City anymore. We are talking about the Liverpool team that is also playing fantastic football, even if I'm not yet convinced. But Bolly mentions very important points. I think everyone is. I think we're sort of like giving City the most, and which is rightfully so because of their past records and all that. But at the end of the day, the same City we drew them in Etihad. I mean, from what you said, and I think we won at Emirates too. And I don't think them winning the trophy over us was because we failed to beat them on our home and away. No, it was because we couldn't capitalize on some of the games that we played and that we lost, like the Aston Villa for crying out loud. We lost home and away. So those are things that needs to change this season. We need to be able to kill the game. I mean, it's so sad. The City had to score in the 98th minute, and it's part of what we need to start instilling, that the game is not yet over until the referee signals that the game is over. We have to be able to stick to the end. And yeah, it feels like a loss, to be honest. And they should feel like that. They should feel like mess. And I'm pretty sure they will learn from it and they will grow from this and just move to the next phase. And then hopefully they can maintain this.
So if I'm going to put you on the spot, Akin, what you're saying now is that as far as you are concerned, beating City would not guarantee the league. It's about the other teams.
It won't guarantee the league. It won't. It's just like what you said at the beginning of the podcast, that Arsenal have just learned how to win, regardless of whatever opponent. Now, it all depends on a lot of things. Like squeeze out the win, manage the game properly. Those are things that will matter in the long run. And those are things I want them to pay more attention to. We are seeing some glimpse of that, but you would need to see that a little bit more of that, over the next couple of games in the season. So that's what I'm trying to say, basically.
away from Arsenal and City, Kule, I think another pressing issue to talk about is, I know we've been talking about it for a while, where footballers have been complaining about the whole, oh, we're going to go on a potential strike, blah, blah, blah. We don't know whatever it is that is going on. This is getting much difficult. The games are increasing in numbers. And I think what triggered this whole debate now is the fact that the players are looking at it that this upcoming FIFA Club World Cup next summer, which trust me, is ludicrous when you think about it. But because money must be made for Gianni Infantino and his cronies in FIFA. So let's organize the competition in the US that we don't really care about. And now players are threatening that they can go on strike, or they should go on strike, or they will go on strike. Is that the solution? Is that what is going to get FIFA to listen to them? Because let's not forget that there's a body called FIFPro. That's body, like the professional body of footballers and what have you. They're supposed to like fight for the footballers, ensure that their welfare is well taken care of, ensure that everything is going on bullish. And now you're wondering if he has to get to the point for the players to say, oh, we're having too many games and we need to like go on strike. If you don't want to listen to us before, we're going to go on strike before you can listen to us. Is that not becoming extreme? I know some people have said, oh, maybe you should cap it at no player should play more than 50 games in a season.
Okay,
or no player should play more than 10 games in a season. Like, is that the solution?
Well, what we've learned in regards to every single thing in life, how we exist, is that if you don't make your displeasure known, if you don't unionize, if you don't fight and ask for it, capitalism will make sure that they will exhaust every opportunity to utilize the resources you provide. If you don't find a way, for example, if you work for a company, if you sign a contract of 8 to 5 and you don't speak out when they call you to come and work by 10 p.m., they will continue to use you to work by 10 p.m. until the day you speak out and talk about it. So I think the misconception I've seen online in some places is that these guys earn so much, why are they complaining, and blah, 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 blah. But people don't understand comparative earning with respect to production, meaning what these players generate by virtue of being entertainers to FIFA, to UEFA, and to all these bodies. So what they are earning is just the same with NBA. The players, they earn comparative to what they make. So I think having a conversation and plan towards, we don't like how we are being treated as footballers. We feel like this is going to, and we've seen it in Barcelona. We currently have about 7 players who probably will be first 11 or maybe at least first 13 players injured. And this is not just Barcelona, this is everywhere in the, across all the teams. So it's important if that is what to get FIFA and UEFA to listen, because the truth is, a lot of people have talked about this, journalists have talked about this, some media bodies have talked about this, and no one is really paying attention. So if the players striking will get them to listen, then it's something they should probably do. And we need to also admit that this insurmountable amount of games is actually affecting the quality of play, because you watch some games, by 35th minute, you can see the fatigue, you can see the players not really putting their efforts and stuff like that. So if it's something that I actually support, and we'll be looking to see if that's something they will actually go ahead and carry out.
We saw the number of games affecting quality of football during the Euros, and I don't think even that was enough to convince FIFA that okay, something needs to be done.
Yeah, and I think that's like that itself is the bottom line. I think that's one of the reasons why the players themselves, like Rodri and Alisson, have started coming out, because I think they themselves have realized that if we don't come out and make statements or threaten to strike, it seems nobody will say something on our behalf. And as you mentioned, in terms of the quality of football dipping, as you saw in the Euros, even if you are treating football as a product, if you oversaturate the product, it is going to wear. Like, people are not going to be that interested again. The quality is going to decline. And there's also going to be fan fatigue, even for fans watching. At some point, you're going to get tired of, okay, I watch 1:30, I'm watching 4 p.m. There's tomorrow by 8, there's Tuesday by 8, there's Wednesday, like every single day. At some point, you're going to turn off and black out. And the concept of, the players are making a lot of money. As Bolly said, the money they generate comparative to what the owners, what they are making themselves little. And the fact that the owners are making this money are not doing any running. The UEFA, the FIFA, the club owners and the rest. And also, if that's our primary concern, players making too much money, then pay them less and let them play less. It's as simple as that. And I think at some point, whether we want it or not, the only thing that will force change is if these players actually go on strike. Like, because for instance, if the Club World Cup 2025 holds smoothly, that will give people like UEFA leeway to be like, yes, we can do whatever we want and get away with it. And the players seem to be determined to make sure that nobody gets away with it. Rodri got injured today. Dani Olmo got injured for Barcelona 2 weeks ago. Odegaard got injured for us now. Bellingham got injured for Madrid like 3 weeks ago. Alaba has been injured for a year. Like, and this main reason is that it's the accumulation of football, the wear and tear of the muscles. It is not sustainable. That's why if you see players play like, okay, I may retire at 29 or 30. Because basically the game wants to drain your lifeblood. And we know the reason why.
Away from football, Aki, I know that Delemeji has been dragging him like somebody that stole cow in Egba land all night. Aki, are you still with us? I think we lost Aki. Because I think the best way to describe it is a lot of people felt after the Fury and Usyk fights, if AJ, Anthony Joshua, defeats Daniel Dubois, it only makes sense. Like, the next step for him is to fight against Usyk or Fury again. And for some weird reason, it's beginning to look like, oh, you know what? AJ might be past it. I saw a lot of Nigerians go yesterday that maybe he should just retire, maybe he should quit. And AJ was bullish and defensive about the fact that I'm not going to retire. Aki, are you with us? I think we lost him again. AJ was bullish about the fact that I'm not going to retire. I still have a lot to give, blah, 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 and whatever it is that is going on. And I'm here wondering that after the whole drama that happened with Usyk, where he lost the fight, lost his belt, the 4 belts he was holding, then he gets this fight against Daniel Dubois. There's a belt obviously on show. There's an important belt to give. And this is also a pathway to challenge the winner between Usyk and Fury in December. Kule, you're watching Anthony Joshua and you're like, is it time? Like, is it actually time for him to call it quits?
Honestly, I think yesterday was probably the first time I decided to look like maybe it's time for Anthony Joshua to call it quits. Because I think one of the factors that showed like a decline, especially in boxing, is that A, when your defeats are no longer surprising, and B, when your defeats like knockouts and rest are also like unsurprising anymore. Because previously, 2-3 years ago, Anthony Joshua had lost. We're gone, what? Now it's happening again. And C, I think this is the most important. When getting knocked out is like point line for a boxer, like when you're becoming like fair game, it shows that perhaps the sport is leaving you behind. And in a sport like boxing, like if you fall off that mountain, it's incredibly hard to come back up. So I'm not going to say, oh yes, Anthony Joshua, hang up the gloves, is knuckle out, your time is over, you're done. But it's starting to look like it. And at some point, let's just simply put it that there is kind of a long way up to get back to the top of that mountain. It feels like the only winner is down.
Aki, are you with us?
Yeah, guys. Sorry about that. I'm with you guys.
I don't know if that result came as a surprise to you or not.
I don't know. I mean, shockingly a bit. It was a surprise, and it was a surprise because I didn't actually get to watch the match, but I actually watched the what's called some snapshot of what the knockout was like. So, and it's just, I mean, I have a couple of things to say. The first thing being that I think Anthony Joshua got so cocky, like from the moment leading up to this game and even during the fight. During the fight, in the sense that one of the fundamentals of boxing is that they talk so much. They talk so much about like footwork, and you have him having these 2 feet close to each other, and you are playing you're fighting someone of that nature, and you're not even like distancing yourself so that you can actually weave the game in the process. So he opened himself up too much, and it was a worry for me. I didn't like the way he fought. He fought like there was nothing there. I mean, like he had nothing. I don't know, man. I feel disappointed in him, to be honest. And probably it's just high time he start thinking of just hanging the boots and all that, because it's so concerning right now, to be fair.
Aki, let me play devil's advocate for a second there and say that the people that have accused AJ of saying, oh, it's not aggressive enough anymore, it's too conservative, blah, blah, blah. Then if you go ahead and say, oh, it was too aggressive yesterday, doesn't that like nullify the point of, doesn't that prove AJ right that, okay,
I don't say it was too aggressive. I felt like it was too cocky. There's that difference between two of them. It was cocky.
Okay.
The way what's it called? The game pre-game conference. The way he was talking. I get it. You can be confident. There's a difference. You can be confident but not cocky. He was cocky up until the fight. There were times that you know that you were getting this guy, but you're not maintaining your stance or your footwork. Your legs are actually clamped close to one another, so that that way you couldn't even dodge any punches that was coming. Because if you have your two legs, maybe like a hinge or just 2 inches separating them, it's a problem. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. Maybe he got too confident, or he just got cocky. It wasn't the case of aggression. He can be aggressive for crying out. Dubois was very aggressive. He wasn't like timid or anything. It was whatever you're giving him, he was giving you back. So that was the thing I saw yesterday, and it was just worrisome, to be honest.
So if you're saying now that it was cocky and that was the problem, and I'm sure his coaching team are probably reviewing how the whole fight went, and they're trying to like find potential solutions. I beg your pardon. Is there I believe there's a rematch clause somewhere. Would you advise him to trigger it?
I don't think so. I think it's too soon. There's a reason why even Tyson Fury is like chilling right now. He could have actually have the rematch like 2-3 months after.
There's a rematch in December for Fury and Usyk. No? I guess.
But we all know how that is going to go. Let's be honest with ourselves. We all know how that is going to go. So let me just correct the notion. Like, it was cocky up until the fight, such that he forgot the fundamentals of boxing. That's how too much cockiness can actually get you into trouble. So the cocoa is that he just allowed himself. I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling too sorry for him or feeling bad for him, because there are some things that you could just have avoided in that fight. You were in a hurry. You were too quick. You should have just, taking your time. There was no rush, especially when you went down in the early rounds of the fight. It was just a moment for you to just reset and just like take your time. He forgot himself completely in that game, and before you know it, he took another knockout a couple of times again. So it's just some stuff that he needs to just chew. He doesn't have to take the release the fight, the second fight again. Yeah, okay. He doesn't have to take the rematch clause now, because if they are knocking you out almost the same way, there's a problem. It's just the same way with Israel Adesanya of UFC. He realized that, I've been taking out punches, or I've been knocked out almost the similar way. I think it's high time I just like, you know what, take this long hiatus out of like the game and then come back, and if possible, just to clear my mind, because it could be more mental now that he needs to just go back to how things were and just return to the basics. So he should just give himself some break and just then come back after analyzing it.
I think Bolish and I were discussing about, I don't know if you guys know this particular podcast, shxtsngigs, hosted by James and Fuad, where they got into this debacle of talking about Nigerians and talking about black women and everything. And this other white guy, this Andrew Schulz, who makes racist jokes and in the name of jokes says a lot of things and gets away with it. And I think, Bolish, we're talking about the fact that James and Fuad put themselves in a situation whereby they should have, especially Fuad, for someone who did not grow up in Nigeria, but you're Nigerian, and for you to be saying things like, oh, the reason why Nigerians are known to be corrupt or to be internet criminals or cyber criminals, whatever it is you want to call it, is because there's not enough. And which is not true. Nigerians are some of the most hardworking people that you can come across in the world. To then fall into that trap of, okay, yes, this at what point, like, there shouldn't be a fight or flight moment when it comes to racism and abuse of women. Somebody says something like that, you need to stand up immediately and be like, no, this is wrong, and that's not how it works, blah, blah, blah. You can do it in a calm manner without being aggressive, without being, but you need to reject it. Instead of coming out after people call you out, then start apologizing and you go, oh, we didn't mean it that way, blah, blah, blah. It was a difficult situation for us. I don't think it was that much of a difficult situation, to be honest.
I think it's very clear what's happening. They joked, and if there was no backlash, or if people were not calling them out, they probably wouldn't have said anything about it or apologized. The only reason why they apologize or feeling bad is because of people are calling them out. And I understand. The only problem I have with the whole conversation is that if you make conversations, or if you are part of a conversation and you have no idea or you don't have enough information, the best thing you can do is to state that you don't have enough information rather than provide an opinion when you don't have enough information. That's the problem I have with them. Because you are sitting with someone who blatantly makes those kind of jokes and is allowed to get away with them because obviously he makes those kind of jokes. He's a comedian. You are not a comedian. You are a podcaster. So you are not offered, or you don't have the liberty of anything you say to be taken through the lens of comedy. So you are someone who offers. So when you offer your opinion, you need to be sure they are your opinion and that you stand by them. So it's just performative. What's it called? Request for forgiveness. I think that's what it is. Because if there was no backlash, I don't think they would hear anything from them. So that's just my opinion about it.
Because in the same way you have, like, there's freedom of expression and how do I put it, communication. The same way we show up every week to talk about things that, it's not like we're expert or anything like that, but we just show up to air our opinion on some things. The same way we have that freedom to give our opinions or give comments or give analysis on things, it's the same way people should have that same freedom to call us out when we say the wrong things or when we don't stand up for what is right. So I think it's fair to say calling out the guys on Shits and Gigs is properly, like, is well deserved.
More than well deserved. Like, it's frankly, it's the bare minimum, because aside the fact of sitting there allowing those racist and sexist comments pass by without any pushback, why are you bringing someone who makes racist and sexist jokes to your show in the first place? Like, if you are sending us a message that your show allows this to happen. And frankly,
let me get an impression. They went to his show, actually.
Yeah, like, I think either way, like, even if you do go to a show, like, you are setting a precedent that you are fine with this kind of thing, whether in your own show or whether in another, as long as it involves you, you are saying that you seem to be fine with it. So calling them out again, it is the bare minimum. And as Bolly said, those kind of apologies are very much I'm sorry, we are sorry you saw this, not we are sorry it happened. Because if you are going to be sorry it happened, be sorry before it happened and make sure it doesn't happen. It's as simple as that. And it's simply they deserve whatever fact they're getting. And again, that's the least they should get.
I think that brings us to the end of this particular section of the podcast, because we need to move on to the NFL table. To our listeners out there, don't forget to like, share, and comment.